So it froze for some reason, so I just logged back in, logged out, logged back in. That messed us up stuff. So hopefully you guys will tune back in. We are on Johns Lake in Claremont, Florida. We're fishing around Deer Island. So first bite came on this worm, so gonna toss it around a little bit. Well, should be some fish right here. Got this wind starting to move in. Shallow in between this little cut. There's grass in this deeper stretch, so but I haven't been here in a while, so I don't know what's going on out here. If we got anybody on, see if it's working. Nobody's on. Great. There should be fish over here, I would think. But water temperature is 83.5. So it's moved up a degree since I got here. Seeing grass, not really fish though, which has kind of been the trend. So we're in Claremont, Florida on Johns Lake. Looks like they've done some spraying out here. like to see some fish though. Out in these deeper areas, at least some bait. Or some signs of fish. Not seeing much anything. There's a couple areas I want to hit over here, and then I'm probably going to go to the back to the main lake. Shad spawn should be over. Brim spawn should be in full effect. Well, full moon was Friday. This brim should be really active. Now there's some good scum and matting going on shallow. There's usually a good population of bait in this horseshoe area. Out high and away. Water's really dark. I can't tell how clear it is. It's clear. I mean, when I was shallow. I mean, obviously there was a lot of grass over there. It was pretty clear. Let's see who we got on. Throwing a lot of baits though already this morning. Try to get on some fish. Yeah, I got one on a worm. Maybe try drawing slower. Not sure what that means. So we're out here at Johns Lake just throwing this worm around. The first bite came on a worm, but I've thrown quite a bit of stuff so far this morning just to kind of get a gauge on these fish's attitude. Not seeing much activity, surface activity. Main Lake did not have a lot of grass. This actually back here does have some decent grass. Gonna try to move out to this edge. There's a deeper hot spot right here. See if we can find anything. Like to see at least some bait around. Something just came up there. These fish can be finicky though out here. Here's our edge. 7.8. It's like a little bit of bait. Well, I said there was an edge, not really. There's more grass. It got sparser though, for sure. Might need to change colors up. I'm throwing this red bug right now, but we got clouds and we got a breeze and we got dark water, so typically like to go June bug, but in that situation, but I think it's going to clear up. These fish have been very funky all around here, so I've been fishing this more translucent color a lot more than normal. So we're in about 8.5 feet right here. Sparser grass. But need to see more. And I'm not. So how many we got on? We got the Bmaz, Bradley, maybe try Dragon. Yeah, that's what I'm using. Drop shot with worm. Yeah, I retied actually drop shot today and Nico. Fishing for bass. Got a lot of grass here though. And I typically like to find fish before I don't use a drop shot to search for fish. Yeah, I threw a fluke early, up shallow. I missed one, I believe. There was a little bit of fish would come up. It was kind of a deep stretch to a bank, and there was a patch of thick hydrilla. Oh, there's a little more bait right here. We're in Florida, um, in Claremont at Johns Lake, and we've got grass. It's 9 feet here, and we still have grass. I'm guessing, well, it was so thick that most of that was probably hydrilla, so maybe they didn't spray in here. I saw some hydrilla there. Most of the lake was bare, though, the main East Lake. So when they spray, they leave the non-invasive grass like eelgrass. So the first fish came on a 10-inch worm, so that's kind of what I'm throwing now. I'm gonna make sure I get closer to some of this. So we're on an edge and not just in the middle. Water on this lake's about 3 feet low. It's really low. Real steep bank here. Still in 9 feet right here. So like I was saying earlier, I've thrown a speed worm just kind of coming in and around over here. Speed worm, swim bait, fluke, trick worm, mag 2, chatterbait. And now we just kind of working slow. First fish was small though. Might need to probably go with a straight, maybe a straight tail. If I don't get any more bites on this pretty quickly. I mean, traditionally I like to throw a U-tail in the summer, but it hadn't really been that great this year. Seeing any birds? No birds are hunting. We're a few days past the full moon too. Yeah, there's hydrilla in here. Like I said, I hadn't been here for a while, so I'm just trying to kind of reacquaint myself with this lake. but I don't want to stay in one spot too long. There's a couple areas I want to try here, and then I'll probably focus in the main lake. Maybe, I think. It's deeper, it's clearer. They typically don't spray that one as much, or at all, really. I don't think, because it's always clear. Or there's something just tugged on it a little bit. And I got a lightweight 3/16. Ooh, something just, oh my gosh. That was weird. Felt like a brim bite. Felt brimmy. We got 4. Well, I'm in 9 feet, so the spinnerbait's not really gonna work. They should be moving up to eat, yeah. But later in the day, try drop shot or shaky head on the drop. Yeah, we got to find fish before we can really finesse them. Typically, these Florida lakes, you got to find a group. And this lake seems very specific. Area specific. I'm not seeing a ton of bait here, but I feel like this is perfect, about as perfect as it gets, unless these fish are just roaming deep, and they may be. And typically, I want more wind on us with a spinnerbait too. Shallower, obviously, and more wind. And these fish are obviously not aggressive. But they hide well when there's a lot of grass like this. and it's pretty sparse right now, but it's not even showing up really good. 63 should be showing up fine. All right, let's see. All right, we're gonna roll across. Check this little deep stretch. We got 5 on. What's up, guys? Yeah, it's super hot. When it gets super hot like this, it gets really tough on some of these lakes. Um, Unless you're fishing deep and you get on a good school. A lot of times, specifically this lake, I think it gets a lot of pressure. I mean, I know it does. And best days are during a weather system. Changes that pressure up, um, gets them active. But if you find a group that's eating, or you find an area that's productive, which is what you got to do. And like I said, I hadn't been out here that long in a while, so I don't know what areas are firing. But this lake, I typically don't do well on, and it's probably because I tend to fish deeper in the summer. Where'd you live in Florida last year, and where'd you move to? Hmm. It's showing at 6 feet. That's not right. Maybe it is. go Lakeland. Yeah, they feed when it's hot, obviously, and they feed more, but it seems to be, can be difficult to get bites. Yeah, you guys can see all that sand. That's not usually there. This lake looks a lot smaller than it normally does. All that sand on those banks over there is not usually visible. It's usually underwater. That mucky stuff could be good though with a frog. Typically this time of year, horny toad's really good on this lake, shallow. It's funny, I'm not seeing enough bait. Usually you can kind of see where these fish are positioning, or if they're suspended, where they're suspended. There's just not a lot of anything. Grass. Hmm. Water is really dark. There's not a lot of cypress trees on this lake either. Oh, there's some right there, but not a lot. I'm not sure why this water's so dark. There's some over there too. Guess there is enough. June at Christmas. Do not want to be on John's Lake when it's tough. I don't. It can be miserable. Usually there's a lot of bait around, but I wonder if it's probably gone up shallow into this muck. But that's why I put this on. We're gonna throw this up and around and see if we can at least get some sign that maybe that's where they're at. Yeah, this is all eelgrass. Wow. These lakes are, seems like they've made a conscious effort to get rid of all the hydrilla and get this eelgrass growing. Because lakes that I never even really noticed much eelgrass that they've like really cleaned out now are getting a lot of eelgrass. I'd like to see something. I mean, early morning, and you don't see no surface activity. It's kind of strange. I'll tell you what, that water is clear. It's dark, but it's clear. And that fluke looks yummy coming through there. So I'm working this fluke now. This is a real steep bank. This does not want to stay pegged. Can hook it a little bit in there. Seeing a little bit of flicker. There he is. Little. Oh, you son of a gun. Son of a freaking gun. Sorry, guys. That stinks. He wasn't big, but might be. It's all hooked on the side. That's why. Well, that's another little tail. I didn't even feel him hit it. He just was on there when I jerked it. Watching my line. So make sure this thing's straight. See who we got on. Got 6 on. What's up, guys? So we're in Johns Lake. Lakeland, switched it up to a crawl. Small water charters. What's up, guys? How you guys doing? You had some hella videos with Coach. I like that that Rambo picture. I need one of those. That was pretty sweet. I'd actually like to be working this parallel, but I don't want to get in there. See if they're more up in the scum. Oh, there goes something. I don't know if that was a gar or what that was. A lot of pickerel in here. A lot of gar in here. Jeez. I wish I could see where this grass ended. Hmm. Goodness gracious. Might have to hook this right side up, keep it more weedless. Just not seeing a lot of fish out around it, around this edge. I wish I had a frog tied on right now, but I don't. See if I can keep this out of grass a little bit. Nope. Floating crap. It's a nice point right here. They should be grouped up on it. Rationale doesn't really work in Florida. You just have to keep fishing and covering water until you find fish. I'm gonna change this color, get it a little darker. I mean, we got all these clouds. I should probably go straight tail. How many we got on? What's up, guys? If you would hit that like for me. Mr. Live for him. Good morning, John's Lake. Let's go. On John's Lake, I like to throw a chatterbait through the grass and a wacky rig on grass edges. It is a tough lake. Yeah, it is. You know, it's feast or famine for me. I either do really good or I wish I hadn't come. Just the way that lake is for me. I don't want to throw a red bug. Let's go. June bug. Yeah, I think it's a really finessey lake. I'm with you on the chatterbait. Otherwise, I'm usually throwing a Texas rig, but I mean, a lot of people throw weightless stuff, and I think that's what I need to do more of. These fish are not high though. They don't seem to be suspended. But when you got all this grass, I was telling them earlier, usually around this time of year, a buzz frog up shallow does really well. But I hadn't caught anything big on it. This grass comes out quite a bit. see where the edge is. Usually there's a lot of fish and bait suspended over here. I don't see that. And I typically don't come here and beat the bank. It's probably what you got to do. I'm usually either going to be flipping or throwing a chatterbait. And we'll probably end up flipping in a little bit. Not here though, because it's shallow and mucky here on that main part of the lake. Yeah, it's weird. I just don't not seeing jack. Which tells me that these fish are low. There's some bait low right there. This lighting is really weird right now too. Like, I don't want to wear my glasses because it's too low. But I mean, the sun is up. There's something. I just put a regular trick worm on. That's, I mean, you can't get more finesse than that. In my opinion, on a Texas rig. Water's really low, as I was saying earlier. Looks like the grass in here is pretty good. The main part of this lake looks like there wasn't a whole lot of hydrilla, anything at past 5 feet. But I'm gonna move around a lot. I don't know how much I don't know. There's another spot I want to try, but with the water being low, I don't know. Hmm. We're in 8 feet right here. There's a high spot right there. Throwing this little swim bait. Yeah, usually a traps I do real well on in here. There used to be really good schooling action. Yeah, I don't see him jack. All right. So we're gonna fix this other corner over here, backside of this point, and then we're probably gonna go check one more spot on the north end of this lake. Sun just came up. It's relatively hard right here. I would expect to see a lot more fish over here than I did. There's more bait though, that's for sure. This is the lake I go, oh, I ain't been out. Should I go? Eh, March and April is when I do the best out here. I don't think I've fished it in January, February. That's those shallow months are probably the best time to fish this lake. Spawning. We started getting bit off one of these areas. I'd probably fish a drop shot, but I'm just not gonna randomly fish it. If these fish were mid-range, I'd throw a crankbait, but or top water. I'm just not seeing that. And maybe I should be running these banks over this with a frog, but I'm not seeing anything. I'm not seeing any activity in them. I would think these fish would be in that kind of 6 to 8. There's enough sun. Kinda. Wow, the water's pretty clear. It may be clearer than I think. Let's see. Yeah, we got like 4 or 5 feet. I'm gonna change the color. I didn't realize it's so dark in the clouds. I didn't realize how clear it really was. Yeah, I don't like that. There's some blue in it. I don't use the regular trick worms a lot. So what I've noticed is the older ones, they've got, that point is really pointy. They've started making them with a little thicker head on them, which is nice. Change that color up because this water is clearer than I thought. Got 3 on. All right, Jatavius, appreciate you logging in, man. Oh, wow. 9.5 in March. Nice. There's big ones here. Were you in the marsh? My biggest one's just over 5 something in the marsh area, right when you're going in. Wow, it's surprising how little bait is out here. I mean, there wasn't a lot of grass in the main lake. These fish should be in here. Well, the main stretch from the canal. I mean, I didn't look a lot, but where I traveled. Getting cold. It's getting hot now. I'll tell you that. There's a lot of grass over here. What the hell? There we go. Jeez. Grass. Don't seem to want black and blue. Let's throw this. These fish should be in this. All right, I'm gonna go check an area on the north end. Man, typical Johns Lake. And then I think we're gonna go back to the main ramp lake. It's clearer, a little healthier. Man, this is clear. It's just dingy and dark. We got 3. No cove to the left after you launch. Oh, close to the old mansion. Total luck that I caught it. Dude, I went in there, like, I never catch anything in there. But last year, was it last year? It seemed like every time I came up there, man, I would see tons of stuff. And I never catch anything. The guides are always in there. And there was one guy I'd always see in there. He was shiner fishing. In that back, there's that one dock that comes out in a boathouse. He would every time I went, that's where he was sitting. And I fished in there. And one time I caught a couple small ones, some flipping, but nothing big. That area is good, but I don't tend to do that good. Now, if it's windy and you get between those grass clumps, I can catch them on trap, but still no big ones. So, guys, I'm gonna go check a spot over here and see. It may be too shallow, and then I'm gonna head to the main, probably the primary lake, and hopefully we'll get on something and I'll log back in. But thanks for getting on, and hit that like on your way out. But I'll probably see you guys in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. So stay tuned. See you all in a little bit.